All right. So I thought I'd make a video to kind of show. I've been MIA on YouTube mostly. I was kind of having fun doing videos, and quite honestly, I just some stuff just kind of brings out the angry person in myself. So I figured I would just kind of step away and maybe have a different mindset, etc., etc. At any rate, I've been doing a few projects. One in particular, this printer basically 8 years ago it was a CR10 copy, China copy from FL Sun. It had a foot pattern of 300 by 300 by 400, I believe it was, which is 12 by 12 by 16 tall. Um, so, and granted, it did good. These were stuff once we got it dialed in. I mean, it worked well for what it was. Uh, and then throughout the course of things, I had a lot of this stuff was done without supports as well, which quite shockingly is pretty good in my opinion. So, and it wasn't because I didn't need them. It was just when I started a long time ago, there wasn't really a whole lot on this stuff, 3D printing. It was just the victim of not knowing any better. So I want to try to keep this one short, but I want to do some updates on this, and then eventually I had started a driving cabinet like quite some time ago, and I have since got it done and it's delivered. But I want to do a completion video of that as well. But up until that point, we're just going to go with this. But like I said, so of course of all that, basically the only thing that's left from that machine that I used was the motherboard, cooling fans, and the stepper motors and the lead screws. Um, Geez, I think that's well, okay. So then, yeah, your belt tensioners. Um, yeah, the most of the design factor was I used the most common. Have the roller on the 80/20 type stuff. It's bead, and then you have the rollers, and then so basically what happened was I took and built. This is 400 wide and 700 long. So it's a nice foot pattern in the sense that, and the only reason, and like I said, the only reason that I built this machine was I have a product which is right here, which is a shrunk down version. It's the Monte Carlo SLP grill from way back when. Well, it's a mod. It's a mod that you stick on that kind of, you know, it adds a little bit of flair to the 2000 to 2005 Monte Carlo up front. It just gives a different look. Some people like it, some people don't. I, however, have been on probably 5 years or so, been reverse engineering it to the point where I've got it dang near on point. But I was building the component. I was CNC cutting the outer frame, and then plastic welding the grill mesh to make a product, and then had to put the two-sided sticky tape together. Well, I just got tired of doing the handling process of having to build them, even though after you cut them, I was going to do a laser type deal, but I just wanted something. So then I got creative and thought, well, maybe 3D printing is the option. Well, ended up being that's kind of what it is, and it'll end up taking me just a little over a day to print one. That's not bad considering the detail that will be in. I put it on the machine and it comes off the machine, and then I can install the tape and then to be ready to roll, um, ready to ship. Um, the demand has gone down for them. I'll admit, but I quite honestly think I have something to do with that in the sense that the price was being, you know, it was way overpriced, just due to the fact that it was kind of rare, and then the people that wanted it would actually pay top dollar. I mean, they're paying $300-400 for these things at one point, but at any rate, the machine is near completion. The only thing I had to, I CNC cut uh, the roller support bed, and then CNC cut the where the heater mat's at, and then had somebody make me a silicone heater mat, which is 1,000 watt, but it's 110. Uh, so 110 volt, which is nice because then I can just use basically house current. Um, so your board signal goes in. What's in here is basically, see, I got two, I think three power supplies in there, or two power supplies, a transformer, and a solid state relay. So the solid state relay is for the bed. Then I have a 24 volt for the extruder heater and the steppers, and then I have another 24 volt for all the fans. So I can just split the load up, so to speak. Um, it's coming out pretty good. Pretty happy with it so far. I had to change the design a little bit, but all in all, it's pretty nice. I prefer it's still got the firmware for the FL Sun, which is fine, but I like this firmware in the sense it's really old. It's like version 1.1.2, I believe it is. There's a lot of options in there as far as what you can do on the fly while it's running. A lot of that stuff has gotten taken out of it, but I've learned that's basically all I'll have left for this machine is the firmware, in the sense that to show, because right now, and once upon a time I thought it was easy as to just uh, marry a size in your slicer for your bed size, for your printer size, which I can do, and then I'll slice the file while I went to try to kind of like dry run it, the print for the full size grill, but it only sees 300 millimeter by 300 millimeter, so it homes out and then it just assumes where it's at. So you have to go into the firmware and basically uh, put a value in there for basically your printer size, um, and of course your offsets from whatever, once it hits the limit switch, and then however far the nozzle is from there to the actual edge of that, then that's your offset, of course. But yeah, I don't have a lot left, but I'm getting real close. But yeah, it's to the point where a guy could uh, get it closer to the. Yeah, I can go in and auto home it. But yeah, it's pretty cool to see movement and then actually ready to roll just about. And see that it'll come back over. It'll come back over to this area because it's assuming it's 12 inches. So as you can see, that's roughly about in the middle of what that mat would have been in the first place. So, like I said, I had a magnetic, two-piece magnetic custom built as well, but I didn't like the way that looked, and I think they put the adhesive on the wrong side of the magnet, so it doesn't have. I mean, it sticks fairly well, but it's not where I would like to see it. But what I end up doing is getting two of these textured 400 by 400 mats, and then just having two pieces. That'll just be fine. So the video's gotten a lot longer than I anticipated. Excuse me. So yeah, it's kind of hard to capture it. I mean, how cool it is, but I mean, it's kind of a beast. You know, I use your standard 80/20 on the bottom frame, and yeah, it's got 1/2 inch rubber for your dampeners. Proprietary plugs based on, you can't get them mixed up if you took the, this is the control box. Once upon a time I had that over here as one unit. It worked out to where I had to change this and put it on here, and I actually kind of like this better anyway. So yeah, that's about it. So hopefully next time I do something with this machine, and I'll have had the firmware figured out, and we'll be ready to roll. But yeah, oh, before I wind it up, another hack that I wanted to actually, you know what? I think I'll just save that for a short or a reel. Thanks.